Shedeur has an uphill climb in Cleveland, and I think a lot of it has to do with exactly what Deion's saying on this podcast.
Shedeur Sanders acting like the biggest in the world for months leading up to the draft. Deion Sanders has apparently put Shedeur Sanders in harm's way again and exposed the real reason why Shedeur fell into the 5th round. At least that's what Jason McIntyre said, which is interesting because on that same exact program, his main man Colin Cowherd said that it was just because Shedeur Sanders was okay. And other outlets have said that. And now they're saying it's because of Deion. My problem, and what we're going to talk about today, is that y'all don't want to be honest. When people sat there and said that Shedeur Sanders isn't a 5th round talent, and again, I'm not jumping up and down saying he was the #1 pick overall, but end of the 1st, top of the 2nd is very reasonable, right? To go to 5th round, it made people scratch their heads, okay? So everybody wanted to convince us or convince you that it's just because Shedeur Sanders isn't that good. It's not that good. You know, he's just entitled and arrogant and overblown and overhyped, and his dad just believes in him too much. That's what they told you. 4,000-yard season back-to-back. Don't mention the HBCU career and all those wins because they don't care about HBCUs. Apparently, they don't really care about Walter Payton or anything like that. But just focus on the Colorado days, and I get it. You know, 4-8 is not the great 9-4. Then take them back to the bowl game and almost a whole decade since the last time they went. Like, I mean, I don't know what you think or what you thought you could eventually paint this person as, but not good at football. I don't think anybody was buying that. So now the media and the narrative has changed when he, for the first time, answers a question. This is a 1-minute clip we're about to watch. This is a minute clip of him talking about his sons for the first time about the draft, and people have a problem to say this is what people had a problem with.
I know it was a lot of rumors about the next level, and I can't see that. Yeah. I can't see the next level, and I think a couple of people who may have taken shots at my kids, they were afraid that I would go. That's where the shots came from. All you got to do is just sit back and listen. People don't want to do that. They want to create these narratives and create these stories and then attach them to a kid that ain't never done nothing wrong.
Yeah. How does that make you feel when you see your colleagues or your peers going in on you, man? Like, how does that make you feel?
No idea, man. You have no idea. They've always been in front of the camera, so they know how to navigate. They know how to handle themselves. Yeah. And you're not gonna catch them in no foolery and no mess. You're not. When you sit up there and say something like he went in a meeting unprepared, like, dude, Shedeur Sanders, who's had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and went up, leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, and you're gonna tell me he
every situation.
You're gonna tell me he had on headphones.
So you a dog, your kid's a dog, and dogs gonna always rise to the top. You know?
And you know, obviously that was just the clip. And while I do and I will agree, and I actually have some examples of maybe some times where Shedeur or Deion Sanders could have overstepped a little bit. I have them here. I have Deion Sanders. I think this is like the first time that he really opened up about saying Shedeur Sanders going to the wrong team. And then this is during the Shedeur Sanders meeting with the Titans where where Deion Sanders called Shedeur while in the meeting. We'll get to that right after we get here, because the main meat and the potatoes here is this response from Jason McIntyre, and we're gonna let it play. But just responding to what Deion says. But first off, obviously, look, that's his kid, so he's gonna defend his kid. And I've got some other TikTok dude who's upset at people defending their kid or whatever from Fox News or blah blah blah. But I don't understand why a 1-minute take about, hey, y'all did my kid wrong, that's just how I'm feeling. I don't know why you want me to throw my kid under the bus? Like is that what y'all want? Is it a bunch of motherfuckers who didn't get hugged by their dad? Is that like what? I'm confused. I'm confused at what you expect Deion Sanders to do when y'all was we're not talking about, all y'all did was just, we just said he wasn't good at football. That's not what was going on. I remember what was going on. Shedeur Sanders acting like the biggest douchebag in the world for months leading up to the draft. Shocked that this strategy didn't work out. This is what the comments have to say. This is how, Because I'm done with it. I'm done with y'all trying to act like, oh, it's just because he's bad at football. Because that's what Colin Cowherd said months ago, or right after the draft. It's just because he's okay. This right here is this a guy who this is what he was doing months leading up to the draft. This way, shaking people's hands, having a good time. Oh! It's because you saw this video, right? This 2-year-old video against Arizona State when he was a junior in college after winning a game. Wait, that's after they won, right? Hope they won that game. You can't go crazy like that and not win. Is that what's got y'all this mad? But let's hear it from Jason McIntyre, because Jason McIntyre sure was mad about what Deion said.
Sanders fell in the draft. This, my friends, is why Shedeur Sanders fell in the draft. I thought it was probably 50% Deion, 50% Shedeur. I'm now thinking NFL teams, front offices were just like, no thank you on Shedeur Sanders precisely because of this. Folks, it's the beginning of June, and Deion is already complaining about his son and what went down at the draft. And you know there are teams that passed on Deion this morning. That's why we didn't want him. Joe Shane and Brian.
I got it because, you're just lying. So, it is the beginning of June, and it's the first time he's talked about it since April. So yeah, he could have been, right, to your point, on the media every day, yelling, hollering, crying, and complaining about stuff. He even had TMZ in his face. He said, we're blessed, all these other things. But a 1-minute clip, a total minute of clip of him just saying, hey, y'all said negative things that were clear lies about my kid. And whether it's a lie or whether it's not, but don't frame it like that, Jason McIntyre, because I know what you're doing. You're trying to frame it like, oh my God, Deion Sanders he can't let it die. No, he was asked a question. So when y'all, media pundits want to take things out of context and present things to your audience that he thinks that y'all are dumb. I mean, he's on Fox, so he clearly thinks that his audience is dumb. Y'all take it up with Jason McIntyre. If you're his audience, he's presenting you things like you're a dummy. No, Deion was asked a question by a former NFL player, Asante Samuel, and he answered it candidly about his son. But continue.
Daboll, looking at their owner, I told you, we don't need this crap. And again, I'm not going to challenge what Deion said. It doesn't really matter. Did he wear headphones to a meeting with a team? I don't know. That seems like something weird to make up for a team. But Deion's pushback is, oh, would he wear headphones to a meeting? Well, he either did or didn't. And oh, by the way, this whole, he had 6 offensive coordinators. That's not denying what went down at the meeting, him being unprepared. And
that's fair.
Again,
that's fair.
Shedeur has an uphill climb in Cleveland. And I think a lot of it has to do with exactly what Deion's saying on this podcast. So Kevin Stefanski's going to show up at OTAs this week, and he's not going to get asked about, hey, how's Myles Garrett looking and the defense? What's up with Nick Chubb? Have you made a decision? How about the wide receiver room? A lot of change there. Any quarterback update. It's not going to be any of that. It's going to be, so Deion Sanders said this, and now you're getting questions about your 4th string quarterback in June. And folks, it ain't going to end here.
And this is where we get to stretching, right? You see where he's stretching it. You see where he's putting sauce on it. You see how it's June 3rd, and he's got to get his Shedeur Sanders clip off. Hey, y'all know me. I be getting my Shedeur Sanders videos off. I promise you, if you say positive things about Shedeur Sanders, it's actually easier to make content. I don't know why everybody wants to hate on Shedeur, because, hey, y'all can try to call me out, even though y'all can go watch my old videos. Y'all can see how I talk. Y'all can see how I talk about in-game. Y'all can see about how I talk about Deion Sanders and his time management and head coaching skills. You can see how I criticize offensive coordinator roles and the play calling, and I even criticize the BYU game. Hey, Shedeur, you probably hurt you. If you want to be honest, if you talk about play, that game hurt his draft stock, if we're going to be honest. Because for as much as people want to first hide behind the gameplay, what they were exposing is, oh, y'all didn't watch enough football. Okay, y'all didn't actually watch enough Colorado football games. So now we're trying to respin the narrative. Oh, no. It's Deion Sanders. And to say that he shouldn't be able to say it, like I said, this is what the things that they were saying. You mean to tell me acting extremely arrogant and going 500 with Colorado and getting smacked in a bowl game didn't sell you? Can y'all remember? Because I have been watching football for a while. I have never heard a prospect going into college. I've never heard them with their their record be brought up. Oh, by the way, over 2 seasons, and again, only 2 seasons out of the 4 seasons he played. Hey, by the way, in 2 seasons, he only went 500. Did y'all do that with Patrick Mahomes? Did y'all add up Texas Tech records? Y'all probably didn't know that Patrick Mahomes played for Texas Tech. Not my audience members, but the Shedeur haters who say things like, "Oh my God, you only went 500 at Colorado." Because there has never been a prospect that's ever been prospected like that. Were they saying that when Josh Allen was coming out of Wyoming? What about Carson Wentz and Trey Lance from North Dakota State? What about Paxton Lynch in Nevada, I believe? Nevada, is that right? They drafted him because he was 6'7". He got drafted in like the 3rd round. Oh, what was it? The Broncos? Somebody. Fact check me, please, in the comments. I've never heard, hey, yeah, this is why you got to go 5th round because, you didn't have a winning record. I beg y'all to pull up Jaden Daniels, Arizona State. Hey, if we only pulling up Pac-12 / Big 12 records, let's pull up Jaden Daniels, Arizona State only his wins and losses there. That don't make no sense, dog. And this is where y'all trying to act like he's crazy when y'all said things like that, when y'all blew out of proportion a young man. Yo, since when in the same crowd that calls people soft get mad at this? That's the same crowd of people. They gonna call this generation soft, and then they gonna go around and tweet this out and say, how arrogant. Wait, what's arrogant about y'all talk that hot, right? That's the student section, if you didn't know, because I know a lot of y'all who never went to college. I apologize. There's nothing wrong with not going to college. So that's a student section that he's going up to that was probably talking that hot boy, because you can see the shirts. You can see they ain't too enthused. Most likely a student section, right? So they was talking that hot to him. Hey, man, we beat y'all. What happened? What's good? Oh, but y'all don't want a quarterback to be competitive. Okay. Y'all don't want a quarterback to hey, man, when I win, I do it. And when he loses, we've watched interviews. Guess what Shedeur does? He accepts his losses. Go to the Nebraska game. One of the most notorious losses last season. He says, hey, man, Nebraska was just better than us. They executed better than us. The reporter asked him about, hey, was it, and I'm not sure if this is like a slight, you know what I'm saying, because the Colorado, Nebraska, it might be like a slight dig in there. He was like, he asked him like, hey, did the environment have a role to play with how bad you guys played, basically? He's like, nah, it wasn't that. They just came in, they executed better. We didn't execute. So again, y'all don't watch the interviews. Y'all don't watch the games. Y'all don't. Wow. Sorry, I just froze up there. Y'all don't watch him shaking people up. Like he acted like a, wow, the hiccups got me. He acted like a what? He acted what? He didn't take a professional approach. This was him on Radio Row after an interview. Let me shake everybody's hand. And this is a small little clip of him.
It's certain settings you can and you can't be vulgar.
Right. That's fine.
So that's what I'm saying. You can't. There's no such thing as being a.
If my son says a warranted curse word, warranted.
I'm sorry. This is too much for me. They cuss word police, and I don't know. But anyway, this is the arrogant, entitled dude, man. This is nasty. And Stephen A. Smith had some things to say. If y'all want me to go in on Stephen A. Smith, even though there's nothing to go in, I think he mostly defended Deion and really kind of pointed out some of those things. And I think it made sense. I just thought it was crazy that just was it in 28th? Hey, It's because Deion Sanders was just okay. And I'm going to have a separate video addressing the media shift. I want y'all to pay attention to that. I want y'all to pay attention. When the anonymous claims come out, they can stick to the anonymous claims. But then when he starts playing football and there's, they can't spin any narratives of like, oh, well, he's playing like a fifth rounder and his teammates are saying positive things and the veteran teammates and the rookie teammates and the coaches are saying positive stuff. And the local media, even though no matter how hard Mary Kay tries to paint it in a way, they can't find anything negative to say. So now y'all are scrambling a little bit. Now y'all are like, wait, hold on. wait. I'm not gonna let y'all think that, maybe somebody got something wrong here. I'm not saying Shedeur Sanders was colluded and da because my comments will say that. You feel me? I ain't gotta say it. But no. If I'm being calm, cool, and collective, and I wanna, sometimes you gotta. Occam's razor. What's the likeliest thing to have happened? I think people were rubbed wrong by Deion Sanders, and I think that's not an okay thing, right? Because to my point, and like he's gonna finish this clip, he's basically gonna say like, hey, this is a big reason why they don't want it. They don't want to talk about the 5th round pick. And to that, I've always thought that was BS. I don't understand how you're a head coach of a National Football League team and you can't handle an extra question about a 5th round pick. If it's a 5th round pick and you don't, and it's unconsequential, guess what? Hey, I don't really think I need to answer that question. If it's just a 5th round pick, if it's not a big deal, hey, don't answer the question. Do you think Kevin Stefanski is not a big boy? Do you think NFL head coaches aren't big boys enough to either handle the situation or just answer the question? And on top of that, no, he does not want to answer questions about Myles Garrett frolicking in Japan. Actually, he would probably rather answer Shedeur Sanders questions. But again, it's June and you need your Shedeur Sanders video, so you're lying. No, why would he want to answer about losing fan favorite Nick Chubb, who has been one of the best running backs in the latter half of the decade? Well, I guess it's not latter half because the first half of the decade, is that what it is? Yeah, the last half decade. Okay, son. Why would he want to answer those questions? If I was a head coach, I'd rather answer, hey, Deion Sanders was unhappy because, like you saying, he puts the Browns in a bad situation. What are they going to ask him? Hey, Deion Sanders said something about his son, Shedeur Sanders. Something that has almost nothing to do with the Browns. Something that we are all at this point assuming that it's either the Giants or the Vikings or I think it was like another team, the only anonymous ones that could have said it. Why? Either don't answer it or, hey, good on Shedeur. That's one of my guys. That's one of my teammates. So I'm happy that Deion Sanders. Why would that? It ain't got nothing to do with the Browns, other than him being a Browns player. So yeah, I think he'd rather answer Shedeur questions than, hey, why is Myles Garrett in Japan? Why is he not at OTAs? I don't think he wants to answer those questions. If I'm being wholeheartedly truth, because he's already had to answer those questions. he's already had to answer those questions. But again, y'all don't watch nothing. Y'all just say what's fun to say. Like this, like Maggie Gary. This is what Maggie Gary had to say. This is June 3rd.
When I first heard this, I thought, I get it. I get Deion trying to defend his kid. I do. And any parent would do it. And you feel like people are telling lies for their own benefit about your kid. It's the last thing that Shedeur needs. And
that's it. No. Stop with the last thing that Shedeur. No, you said it right there. Defending your kid. And I know that what this argument's going to go, hey, you should think, whatever, he's in the locker room, he should whatever. Again, if they were lying about his QBR or whatever, or if they were just saying that he's not as accurate, that's one thing. That's not what we're talking about. They're talking about his character. I'm on your side if they were just saying, Shedeur Sanders, intermediate, his EPA per play on third down is just terrible. Hey, look at the stats, Deion. I can't defend that. But when you start calling him out of his name, at that point, It's humans, dog. Hey, I'm sorry if this is a bad light for Shedeur, that he has a loving dad that doesn't want people to say he's entitled, arrogant, and everything else. Because I raised my son a little better than that, and he's only been displaying in the media that he's been raised better than that, hasn't he?
So, like, think about everything that's been coming out of Brown's camp that he's been fitting in, that it hasn't been the Shedeur show. He, tried to tamp down that stupid story about the car that I didn't know what color it was. The NFL, in some way, told you no thanks for 4 rounds.
Yep.
And so we were wondering, all right, is Shedeur going to take that, internalize it? Is he going to use it as rocket fuel? And it looks like so far he has. He's doing the Tom Brady thing. He's putting the chip on his shoulder, and maybe this becomes part of his origin story. When you got Deion out there being like, you know what, it's actually all fake, it's all lies, it's taken away from the learning lesson, like the lesson that maybe needed to be taught, that Shedeur got this like big dose of humble pie. I don't know if he deserved it or he didn't, but he got it. So now
No. And in this right here, and I'm not even gonna play that Fox Sports Radio because it's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Parents back then, when we were in school, when people called us, our parents didn't yada yada yada, and that's fine and that's great. And I know I have a lot of actually older people who watch this, so I don't mean in any way to undermine your parenting process or how you were parented. That's not what I mean. Look, people were parented in different ways. I'm saying that using that as an excuse to say to cast blame on how another man chooses to interact and speak on a creation of his and God's, sorry, I'm not going for it. And then to come back on Maggie's fault, well, he was taking this humble pie. He was XYZ. He was put in this place. No. Again, even because I hate that. I hate that she has the perspective that because of the draft, Shedeur is acting like this. But the reason I keep making these videos is to prove to you that Shedeur was always acting like this. That's what I keep telling y'all. If y'all go watch the interviews, which we've done on this channel, you don't have to. You can go scroll through my YouTube channel and search lies and Shedeur. And I've got them and I've debunked them. I've gone through Nebraska interviews, throwback interviews, all these other things. And what I see is a guy who's quite confident, who, when he says things, if I was an NFL media representative trying to get a juicy story, I could cut out of context, and it's happened to him. But if I am someone of genuine perspective and I actually listen and I actually watch and I'm someone who can recognize patterns, and I have never seen a teammate say anything negative. I've never seen, of the multiple offensive coordinators, anyone say anything negative. In fact, one of his offensive coordinators came out in support after the draft fiasco. All of the future players are saying it. All the Browns, to Mrs. Maggie's point, are all saying positive things. The veterans are saying positive things. At some point, we've got to recognize patterns. In my pattern recognition at this point, if your perception of Shedeur is not based on watching Shedeur operate as a man, you have ill intent. That's what you have. You have ill intent, and you're misrepresenting somebody who you can clearly, who is overly exposed for you to see the truth, but you don't want to see it. Now, I'll let you in the comments figure out what that means and what biases and what prejudice and what other fancy mumbo jumbo words it is, but it's easy to hate on Shedeur Sanders. Let's not beat around the bush. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not easy to hate on. It's real easy to hate on, okay? So continue to do so. I hope you have a great time. Hope you have fun. But understand, as the goalposts move, I'll be there making sure that, hey, we still kicking the field goal. All right, don't you worry. Keep on moving it, son. It costs a lot of concrete to keep doing it, okay? I'll be here kicking that ball as long as you can move it. And man, to my phenomenal viewers, to all the Shedeur Army, to the gosh darn wristwatch brigade, appreciate y'all so much for watching these videos. I appreciate y'all supporting. To the people who aren't wristwatch brigade, y'all just like football content, y'all waiting on more college content, don't worry. I am still CFB Tings. I'm still talking about college football. There's just not a lot going on in college football. We don't even know if it's going to be going on with the way that things are going. But hey, man, just wrap it up. Appreciate y'all watching. Like the video if you like it. Dislike if you don't like it. Subscribe if you enjoy content of all shapes and sizes. Continue to be great. We'll see you next time. Peace.